Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today's episode of GL Rustic Design is going to be a fire department podium. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. It really helps me get my channel growing. It's grown a lot in the last few months, so please just like and subscribe. So the first step is all these boards are, so I'm building this whole thing out of maple. They chose maple instead of me cutting it out of birch. So when I went and picked up all my maple boards, they were all random widths, between 5 and 11 inches or so. So they came planed on one side, and then one edge was straight. So I had to make the other edge straight via running it through the table saw. And so here, I'm gluing up all the sides with some Top Bond glue to make sure that I can get those together. And then once I get all those together, I'll clamp them down, making sure that there's no gaps in between. And then from there, let it dry. I let this dry overnight. And then the next day I came back and did all three sides. So each side, I think the two sides are somewhere around like 22, 23 inches wide. And then the front was like maybe 28 and a half, something like that. I ended up not having enough big cabinet clamps to hold all these down. So I ended up just using just a regular clamp, and it worked. So. And then from there, I took the top, or what's going to be the front, and I wanted to go ahead and carve out my logo. So I found a fire department logo on Etsy. Bought that. It was like $2. So went ahead and put that in there, and then they wanted their custom letters on the inside of it, the top and the bottom. As you can see here, it's just kind of routing out the actual logo itself. And then so once it goes through this whole process, it'll go back and I'll change the bit out to a V-groove bit, and I'll actually carve the letters into the top and the bottom and the middle part. So here I just used a 1/4 inch compression bit, and then the letters I used I think it was a 60-degree 1/2 inch bit. So works super flawlessly. I actually figured out, if you see me any of my other previous videos, I was having major vacuum issues with my CNC up until this week. I finally figured out why I wasn't getting the vacuum that I need, and now it runs absolutely flawlessly. And so here is cutting out, it's just V-grooving all of the letters in that they wanted. They wanted one goal, and then the actual logo in the middle, and then some letters at the top. Once again, guys, please subscribe to the channel. I'm getting so close to my goal of 1,000. The goal of any beginning YouTuber is 1,000. Then we can go from there. I think I'm at almost 700. So please, while you have a second, just subscribe to the video if you're watching this. And then so once I get all that cut out, so I went ahead and I curved so this is the top piece that I'm doing the pocket holes in, or the front piece. You can see I put that bevel curve on the top and the bottom. Then also I'll go back and I put pocket holes on all the sides, so that I can attach the actual sides to it. So if I had to do this again, I probably wouldn't put a pocket hole at the very top like I did there. I'd probably move it down a few inches, just so when you put the final platform together, that you can't see that pocket hole, but end up looking fine in the end. So I put glue on both sides, and then I run those, stand it up straight, and then I connect the side, which is also what I didn't show in the CNC was I went back and I slightly curved the sides so that it actually looks like a podium, so and then so from here I had put the pocket holes in, attached the side itself, making sure that it's slanting down, and then so attach the pocket holes, and that's the same process for both sides. And I also went back, or when I cut out the actual sides, I ran me some adjustable holes so that we can just take one shelf and have it wherever in the inside that we can put it. So we'll have a bottom shelf, a top shelf, and then the mid adjustable shelf. So here, this is going to be the very bottom. This was some maple plywood that we had laying around. So I went ahead and I stripped it down, pocket hole at the bottom of it. I think all the shelves and all the side shelves are built exactly like this. So same top bond glue. I think it ended up being like 22 and a half or 22 and a quarter deep and 28 and a half wide, I think was the measurements for the shelves. But it's just making a really big rectangle. Pocket holes and glue. It could put this whole thing together. So. But going forward, if there's any projects that you want to see, I've been trying to copy. I know I have a cabinet job project coming up that I'm going to get videoed. I have a really large island that's coming up that I'm going to get videoed. That should be dropping within the next month or so. Should be within the next few weeks. So once you get the bottom shelf, the mid shelf, and the upper shelf done, you can go back and attach your shelves with some glue and more pocket holes. So before you actually, a step I missed on the video, but I went back and done afterwards, once you get the front and the two sides attached, then you can, I'd go ahead and, before you get those attached, I'd put those pocket holes. You can see that I'm going to lay the face down on them in a minute. But if you're going to, paint something like this, you can always just glue it and then put brad nails through the face of it. Because if you're gonna paint it, you're gonna eventually hide all that anyway. So, here, like I said, there's 3 pocket holes on the back, 2 on each of the sides, and then 2 that's gonna be on the front. Make sure it's nice and straight. I used a little speed square, to get those even on the back and the front, and all the sides as well. And so once you get that step done, so the middle shelf is going to be, it's just adjustable holes. So it's wherever you want to put the middle shelf. And then the top shelf is going to go on exactly like this one did. All the same steps, pocket holes to the back and to the front and to all the sides. And once you get that done, as you said, there's the top and the bottom. So the bottom, and then you got your top here. You can see it left enough room in case, so that you can go back and put the face on. So here's the face. Here the sides are 1/2 inch maple, and then the top and the bottom are 2-inch strips of maple. And so, I think this whole podium ended up being like 45 inches tall. So, attach those with pocket holes, dab a little bit of glue on it, attach the 2-inch, the top and the bottom, and then you don't need a middle one because that middle shelf adjusts unless you want to put it stationary. You can put a middle divider in here. So once you get all those pocket holes in, you can attach it finally. So go back to your piece that you're working on, add just a little bit of glue around all the edges. And then when you lay it on there, make sure that you get it nice and straight. I usually, I start with the bottom. I'll attach the inside of both the bottoms, just to make sure the bottom is straight. Then I'll go back up one side, attaching pocket holes, all the way up the side. And then I think in the end, if you're off 1/8 of an inch or whatever, you can kind of pull it, and get all that straight. And then so once you get it done, this is just, the middle shelf part is the last piece of the frame of the cabinet. I just used some little pinholes that I get on Amazon. Pop those in, pop the middle shelf in, and it's done. So, and then once you get that in, you can go ahead and do the side shelving. So the side shelving, they're all 12 by 12 pieces. I just kind of set them, I think I put them like 6 inches from the back. You don't have to be an exact, you can put it in the middle, wherever. I just chose 6 because that was close to the middle. Make sure everything is nice and straight with a square. If you got to move it a little bit, you can, and then go back and attach those 3 pocket holes just to make sure this thing's on there with a little bit added glue. Then I actually cut, as you saw in the first video, the first part of this video, I cut some axes to make it look like the axes are supporting the side shelves, which they are. So there's really no good way of connecting these, so I just put a screw through the face of it, or through the whole axe itself, and then put a little bit of glue on the back. Try to get those as straight as possible. I think I've done a pretty good job getting them pretty straight. You can draw lines here. You can do whatever you gotta do to get them all straight. Make sure it all looks good in the end. I just used a quick square there. So once you get that drilled in, I go back and I put a hole through the top of the side wing, to attach that screw. So, but that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the whole build in a nutshell. It'll go back and it'll get stained by somebody else. So I was just the builder of this one. So, but if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. If you made it this far, drop me a comment. Tell me some things that you might be interested in. So, thank you again for watching.